So the first of the examples we have here is checking for character formatting. So we'll just go ahead and click through. So hopefully I've already forked this and we can just run the program today. You'll notice we do have an include here for CC type. So these are these are the libraries. So this is the header we need to bring in here that we can deal with character type comparisons in C. Because remember, in C, so plain C, not C++, the way we dealt with a string was not the way we would consider it now. They were arrays of characters that were terminated by the null terminator, so the \0, not the new line character like we are accustomed to seeing. So there is a little bit of difference. It is, really a difference in nomenclature, but it does turn out to be important. So I'm going to mention it here that there are two includes that we are going to have to remember here. We're going to have to remember string. We're going to have to remember CC type, because without that, things are not going to work properly. Now that I've said that, really there's a third one, because later on when we get to the comparison operator, you're going to have to include a .h, a header here, instead of just the library, because of the way that replit works. But don't worry, we are going to get to that one. So for any of you who have taken CIS170 over the past, I don't know, 6 or so years, you'll kind of recognize this problem. We are asking a user to enter in a valid part number. The part numbers go as follows: letter, 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 number, 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 number. So in order to be able to do that, we have to be able to test those characters. The first test we need on letter, letter, letter is, you guessed it, is alpha. The second test we need on number, 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 number is, again, you guessed it, is digit. So here we can see we are keeping it simple. We have a Boolean function here, so it returns false if the pattern is not being followed. Otherwise, it returns true. So what we're looking to do is pass to it a character array, because remember, again, we don't in this case have to worry about the pointers quite as much, because we're not moving such massive pieces of data. We are moving a small character array over. Int is important here because int is going to be the size of our array. So remember, in keeping true to its form, C++ don't care about boundaries checking. So it is in no way, shape, or form going to ensure that you have built your logic around making sure that you don't step outside of the bounds of these character arrays. So by passing size as a parameter, by receiving size as an argument, what we're ensuring is that we are staying within the bounds of the array. So what we've got here is right here. On line 18, we are getting from the user a part number, and we are going to pass that part number right here in our if statement. On line 21, we are going to pass that part number to test num to make sure that it is in fact following the alphanumeric protocol that we have. So here we'll just go letter, letter, letter. So SSS, number, 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 4444, and that's a valid part number. So let's just run this again and make a quick note about the kinds of letters that we are looking at here. So here we go. We've got it running again. Capital S's. I tell you what, I'll even do you one better. We'll go capital, lower capital S, 444. We need one more 4. There we go, and that's a valid part number. We are not looking for uppercase or lowercase letters here. We are strictly looking at alpha characters and numeric characters. So that is something to be aware of, not necessarily here within the bounds of this particular program, but certainly if you are working with uppercase and lowercase a la a password or something, that's going to require the comparison operator a little bit more closely. And just so that we can run through our num test here, we have int count, so that we can test those characters and we can count how many iterations rather we need to loop through our for statement here. So you can see if is alpha, and we are running customer number via count. So this is a subscript notation again. So again, we're getting away from that idea we had last week of the pointer being necessary here. And again, it's not that that's unimportant. It's just really advanced C++ becomes a survey course in a way that 276 was not. We are going to look at these topics at a nowhere near as deep level as we did in the previous class, because that was the heavy lifting. This is the good to know stuff. I apologize. It's just that usually you'd have heard this speech a little bit more frequently way in the beginning of class, but with the 3 sessions for review, it turns up now instead. So we are checking not is alpha when we are passing customer number sub count into there, because essentially, right, it's good logic. It's just the reverse side of that. So if the first 3 characters are in fact not an alphabet character, false. So it does make sense logically to include the not there. The same goes here for the is digit portion. If we've got an alphabet character in there, that's not a valid part number. So reject that immediately as not valid. So really the not here simplifies the logic that we have, and it's one of those things that I know as a beginning developer you are hesitant to bake into the overall scheme of your programs, because typically we are, as as non-programmers, we are I'm trying to not use the word not. You can tell how difficult this is. We are dissuaded from using the negative. But here in programming, negative, that not operation, actually turns out to be remarkably quick. So that's why we have that baked into here. And that was an exceptionally long video for checking character formats. I'll admit that much is true.